morning, MacLaren. Today is Wednesday, April 8th, 2020. Weather today is sunny, partly cloudy, high of 68 degrees. The sun rose this morning at 6:32 and will set at 7:30. Today marks the beginning of Pesach, Passover, and this is the 8-day observance that commemorates the freedom and exodus of the Israelites from Egypt during the reign of the Pharaoh, Ramses II. Passover um, is derived from the instruction that tradition says God gave to Moses. Um, the story goes that in order to compel the Pharaoh to free the Jewish people, he was going to kill the firstborn of both man and beast. And so he told his people, the Jews, to mark their homes with lamb's blood so that the angel of death would know it was them and would pass over their homes. Today, Passover is celebrated with a festival meal called the Seder, and this is a feast that includes reading and drinking 4 cups of wine, eating special foods like matzah and bitter herbs that represent the bitterness and harshness of slavery that the Jewish people endured under Pharaoh. And children play a very important role at the Seder dinner because every year in retelling the story of the flight and freedom from Egypt, it begins with the children asking the questions of why do we do this and getting the story as their answer. Okay, I'll pick up with Elsie Pittick skips in her sleep. And we left off with Elsie skipping with the fairies for the first time in her sleep. An hour went by, 2 hours, and 3 hours. One by one, the fairies fell down exhausted, and Elsie Pittick skipped on. Just before morning, she was skipping all by herself. Then Andy Spandy wagged his head and said, Elsie Pittick, you are a born skipper. There's no tiring you at all. And for that you shall come once a month to Caburn when the moon is new, and I will teach you to skip till a year is up. And after that I'll wager there won't be mortal or fairy to touch you. Andy Spandy was as good as his word. 12 times during the next year, Elsie Pittick rose up in her sleep with the new moon and went to the top of Mount Caburn. There she took her place among the fairies and learned to do all the tricks of the skipping rope until she did them better than any. At the end of the year she did the high skip so well that she skipped right over the moon. In the sly skip not a fairy could catch her, or know where she would skip to next, so artful was she that she could skip through the lattice of a skeleton leaf and never break it. So there you can see her skipping over the moon and skipping through the lattice of a skeleton leaf. She redoubled the skip double-double, in which you only had to double yourself up twice round the skipping rope before it came down. Elsie Pittick did it 4 times. In the fast skip she skipped so fast that you couldn't see her, though she stood on the same spot all the time. In the last skip, when all the fairies skipped over the same rope in turn, running round and round till they made a mistake from giddiness, Elsie never got giddy and never made a mistake and was always left in last. In the slow skip, she skipped so slow that a mole had time to throw up his hill under her rope before she came down. In the toe skip, when all the others skipped on their tiptoes, Elsie never touched a grass blade with more than the edge of her toenail. In the skip against trouble, she skipped so joyously that Andy Spandy himself chuckled with delight. In the long skip she skipped from Caburn to the other end of Sussex, and had to be fetched back by the wind. In the strong skip she went right under the earth as a diver goes under the sea, and the rabbits, whose burrows she had disturbed, handed her up again. But in the skip like a feather she came down like gossamer, so that she could alight on a spider thread and never shake the dewdrop off. And in the skip altogether she could skip down the whole tribe of fairies and remain as fresh as a daisy. Nobody ever found out how long Elsie Piddock could skip without getting tired, for everybody else got tired first. Even Andy Spandy didn't know. At the end of the year he said to her, "Elsie Piddock, I have taught you all. Bring me your skipping rope, and you shall have a prize." Elsie gave her rope to Andy Spandy, and he licked the two little wooden handles, first the one and then the other. When he handed the rope back to her, one of the handles was made of sugar candy, and the other of French almond rock. "There," said Andy Spandy, "though you suck them never so, they will never grow less, and you shall therefore suck sweet all your life. And as long as you are little enough to skip with this rope, you shall skip as I have taught you. But when you are too big for this rope, you must get a new one. You will no longer be able to do, sorry, but when you are too big for this rope and must get a new one, you will no longer be able to do all the fairy skips that you have learned, although you will still skip better in the mortal way than any other girl that ever was born. Goodbye, Elsie Piddock." And we'll leave off there and pick up again tomorrow. Please keep tending to your victory garden. Keep a pleasant schedule, keep a good routine, get plenty of fresh air and exercise, be a helper to your family. Please don't quarrel with your siblings. If it is your birthday today, April 8th, happy birthday. I hope you all have a day of kindness, friendliness, and peace. My friends, we are all in this together. We will see you next time.